Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we are rejoicing and are glad in it. Happy, happy, happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. If you're coming on, joining me live, I need you to do me a quick favor. Hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly, everybody, and let them know that your boy, Ramon Preston, and my squad, we are all live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta, and you are watching the Ramon Preston Show. I'm super excited about today's show because we are continuing part 2 today of our lesson on the millionaire must-haves. And I want to expound more on these 5 things that you must have, especially if you plan on living a life at the very minimum as a millionaire. So welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. I am your host, Ramon Preston. And if you don't know, now you know. Every Monday through Friday, just like today on this beautiful Tuesday, we show up here live. We, meaning my squad and myself, we show up here live every day at 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, literally in the middle of a business day, to share information with you about money, about business, about entrepreneurship, about investing, wealth building, about all the things that we do, even about our spiritual lives and the Bible and God and relationships and community, because all of these different things make our lives what they are. So welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today. Please make sure you put in the comments what city or state you're watching the Ramon Preston Show from. All you have to do is just type in the chat or in the comments what city, what state you're watching the show from. Or in other words, who you represent. Let us know who you are representing. I love to know where you're watching the Ramon Preston Show from. Now, with that being said, we want to dive right into part 2 of this lesson on the millionaire must-haves. Now, this is my own personal opinion that if you're going to become a millionaire, meaning that if you're going to live a life of financial freedom, if you are going to put yourself in a position so that at some point in your life you become rich, wealthy, or whatever it is that you want to be, let's just generalize financial freedom. Let's generalize rich and wealthy. Let's just generalize it for the purpose of today's conversation. Let's generalize it as becoming a millionaire. Okay, we're going to generalize it as becoming a millionaire. And if you are going to become a millionaire, i.e., or in other words, if you're going to be financially free, if you're going to prepare yourself to be rich, to be wealthy, there are some things you must have. These are the must-haves. Every millionaire that I've talked to, every millionaire that I've learned from, just me personally, every millionaire, not many, but the ones that I do personally know and have a relationship with, just from my experience, all of them have these 5 things, hands down. Of course, they have many more other things, and I could give you 25 must-haves, but I'm extracting what I feel like are the most important must-haves, because all the other stuff will be tied into your structures, your systems, your processes, and that list goes on and on. But I don't want to get into all the mechanics of these 5 things. I just want to get into the meat for these 5 things. So if you're taking notes, please take some good notes. And again, put in the comments what city, what state you're watching the show from. All right. I appreciate all of you. I'm looking at the chat right now. Lula, good afternoon, young lady from Noonan, Georgia. We got Matthew in the house. Good afternoon. Columbia, South Carolina. South Kakalaki, baby. I know exactly where you're at, Columbia, South Carolina. So today we're talking about the millionaire must-haves. Again, these are the 5 things that I personally believe you must have if you plan on becoming a millionaire, if you plan on becoming financially free, if you plan on getting rich, if you plan on being wealthy. All those wealthy, rich, financial free aspirations can be generalized by becoming a millionaire. And these are the must-haves. Yesterday, I talked about the first three. So today I'm going to talk about two more, and I'm going to expand a little bit on it. So the first must-have is a target. You must have a target. You must have a target. That means you got to have a vision, a mission, and a purpose. So when you see target, I want you to look at it from two different perspectives, okay? So a target is a mission, a vision, and a purpose. It's your North Star. It's like the bigger picture for your life. It's going to become your why, okay? The second part of your target is the actual mathematical equation, the calculation that you put together. So for example, I have a target to make $1 million in 2025. All right, I'm giving you an example. A target to make $1 million in 2025, to clear just $1 million in 2025. I have a mission, I have a vision, and I have a purpose, and I also have a dollar amount and a timeline. That becomes my target, because now I'm not just going after $1 million. I'm not just chasing down everything I could chase down before December 31st. I am adding to me going after that money in this time. I'm adding to it this burden of a mission, this responsibility of a vision, this deep purpose that I feel like God has given to me, because I got other things that I want to do with this million, with this 10 million, with this 100,000, whatever your financial target is. So the first must-have is a target, okay? Now, if you see the words in blue from your screen, I wrote down money over mechanics. Money over mechanics. What does that mean? Money over mechanics means when you set the target, let's say for the rest of this year, and you put your mission, your vision, and your purpose behind this financial target that you have for the rest of this year, you gotta always stay focused on money over mechanics. Don't go to the mechanics. Well, how am I do it? How many jobs do I need? How many savings accounts? How many products do I need to sell? All those things play a role, but don't get bogged down in the mechanics. You got to stay committed to the mission, baby. You got to stay committed to the vision. You got to stay committed to the purpose. See, a lot of people think just because they got the right business system, just because they got the right systems and processes for their sales and their marketing, and they got products that are automated, and they got websites and platforms and landing pages and funnels. A lot of people think just because they got all that stuff that they're going to somehow hit that financial target. It don't always work like that, because I'm a witness. There was a time in my life as an entrepreneur who had a mission from God, who had a vision from God, who had a purpose from God to build a successful business. For me, for my family, for my children, for my church, there was a time, ladies and gentlemen, that I didn't have a business structure. I didn't have business systems. I didn't have processes. I didn't have staff and employees and all these other things. I just had a mission. I had a vision, I had a purpose, and I took those intangible things and I embedded them in me. And I was relentless in my pursuit to get money, but I wasn't getting money for the purpose of getting money. I was getting money for the purpose of fulfilling a mission, fulfilling a vision, fulfilling a purpose. And I'm so grateful. Some of you might not have this particular luxury because you might not be a pastorpreneur like I am. I'm a pastorpreneur. So I had the luxury of being given this mission, this vision, and this purpose from God to plant a church. And when I got the mission, the vision, and the purpose to plant a church, it was at a time when my wife and I started doing much better as entrepreneurs. And we believe that God wanted us to use the profits of our business to finance planting our church. We just had this crazy, wild idea that the profits from our business should be used to finance planting a church and building the kingdom of God. And that's what we went with. So what do you think that did for me as an entrepreneur? It gave me more passion, more drive, more ambition to get out there and get that money, because I knew I needed more money to fulfill my mission, my vision, and my purpose. Now, yours might not be to plant a church. Yours might be to start a foundation. Yours might be to open up a soup kitchen. Yours might be just to help your family financially. Yours might be to send your children to college. Whatever it is, what I'm telling you, that target needs to not just be a dollar amount with a timeline. That target needs to be tied to a mission, a vision, and a purpose. And when you bring both of those things together, I'm telling you, it's going to wake you up early every day. It's going to keep you up a little later every day. It's going to force you to put yourself in overdrive, because you ain't just chasing money. You're chasing a mission, you're chasing a vision, and you're chasing a purpose. So again, the millionaire must have. Number one, you must have a target. Money over mechanics. Money over mechanics. Money over mechanics. You need to say that over and over again. I'm not getting bogged down in the mechanics. I don't know how all this stuff gonna happen. I don't know who God gonna use to help me make this stuff happen. I don't know what door is gonna open, what door is gonna close. I don't know how long I'm gonna have to stand in the hallway for a door to open or close. But what I do know is I have a dollar amount that I need. I have a timeline that I put on that dollar amount to need it. And I'm compounding that need with this drive, with this desire, with this deep-seated mission, vision, and purpose that won't let it go. Are y'all following me so far? Good. Number two, you must have an urgency. Now, if you just listen to everything I said, you can easily tell how the target creates the urgency. Easily you could tell. Easily you could tell. You could tell. So when you look at some of the most successful people who have that kind of target, and you see the kind of urgency they got, and you're trying to think like, why are they so urgent to get stuff done? Where does this come from? Like, who are they running from? Or what exactly are they running to? It is because they got this deep-seated thing that keeps them going. I got that thing. My wife and I, we're the same when it comes to that, because we are driven by this sense of urgency. And there's a difference. I want you to hear this. There's a difference between urgency and panic. So we don't have no panic now. We ain't around here panicking. We're not in a panic mode. We are urgent. We have an urgency, okay? This is biblical to have an urgency. Okay, another way of saying it from a biblical perspective is we are compelled by Christ. We are compelled by God to get things done. See how you see how you could tie your God-given mission, vision, and purpose to your business? A lot of people don't do that. I know people who get up every day, go to work, who get up every day, run their business, and they save, they Christians, they love God, they go to church, they pay their tithes, and they never connect the two. And I'm like, no, I'm not rolling like that. I'm connecting the two because I need all the passion, all the strength, all the anointing, all the oil, all the spiritual fuel that I can possibly get in order to take this business to the next level. So number two, you must have an urgency. Look at the words in blue. Here's what I wrote in blue. You must anticipate the inevitable. In other words, you got to prepare for problems. You got to prepare for some of the worst things that happen. I am so surprised at how surprised people are when problems show up. Did you hear what I said? I'm going to say it again. I am so surprised at how surprised people are when problems show up. You living on a planet that's toe up from the flow up. There's a lot of good on this planet. There are a lot of good people on this planet. But guess what? There's a lot of bad on this planet. There are a lot of bad people. You got to be prepared for problems. You got to be prepared for hardships. You got to be prepared to deal with the challenges that everybody face, no matter how rich or poor they are. Every human being has problems, okay? Now, we might have different problems, but we all got problems. And the difference between people with problems and the people who look like they don't have problems is the people who look like they ain't got problems are the people who prepare for the problems. They have an urgency. They anticipate the inevitable. Okay? So if you go into an environment and you go into that environment and it's raining in that environment and you don't have an umbrella, but before you went into the environment, the meteorologist told you, hey, it's finna rain. All right? You don't have the right to go into that environment when you were told it's gonna rain. And then when you get into the environment and you soaking wet, now you a victim. Oh, I can't believe it's raining. How dare the rain? What God doing? I didn't know it was gonna rain. Goofy, you should have prepared for that in the other environment. Because the meteorologist told you, if you go into this environment, guess what's going to happen? It's going to rain. And if you ain't prepared for the rain, you're going to get wet. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? This is the way life works. See, I know this to be true because there was a time in my life that I thought you could get to a place in life where you ain't got no more problems. Because I used to always pray that. I used to always hope and wish that. I used to be like, Lord, I just can't wait till I get to a point in my life where I ain't got no problems and all my bills are paid and man, I could just be happy. And I had to grow up. I had to educate myself and I had to elevate myself to a place intellectually, to a place spiritually, to a place experientially. I had to elevate myself to a place to where I understood and accepted the inevitable. I accepted the inevitable. And then I anticipated it because I realized that, wow, if I got $1,000 problem and I think I'm the only one with this problem, I'm fooling myself because there are billions of people who got $1,000 problems, $10,000 problems, $100,000 problems. And I thought, well, if I could just get to a point to where I could solve my $1,000 problem, I ain't gonna have no more problems. Now I got a $5,000 problem or a $10,000 problem. So you, number two, must have an urgency. Stop dragging your butt, acting like the world owe you something if that's you. Stop becoming the victim in your own mind to your circumstances like you the only one in life broke. Like you the only one in life ain't got a job. Like you the only one in life can't pay all your bills. There are a whole lot of people who might be financially broke without a job that can't pay their bills. But you might not be able to see it because they have made the decision not to be victims to their circumstances, and they're going to project themselves into a place outside of where they at that time. Okay? So, number three, you must prioritize. I'm preaching without preaching, and I hope you hear me. Number three, you must prioritize. These are the must-haves for millionaires. You must prioritize. What do you mean prioritize? You need to prioritize your time, your talents, and your treasures. Look at the words in blue. How do you prioritize your time? Well, one of the ways you prioritize your time is make a decision when you're going to wake up, make a decision when you're going to go to bed, and all that time in between, you need to fill it up with color-coded responsibilities. And you could do this from your smartphone. I was just showing this to my coaching students last night. If you look closely at my phone, any day you go to on my phone, if I scroll it or move it, every day you go to, you're gonna see my days are color coded. You know why? It's something I had to learn to prioritize my time. So from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., that window, I'm going to have hours and blocks color coded. So even if I'm goofing off or not doing what I'm supposed to do, at least I can look at my calendar and remind myself, what am I supposed to be doing right now? See, that plays a big role in you taking responsibility for your own actions and you making sure that you are clear on what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? So I can look at my calendar right now. It's 12:21 p.m. noon in the afternoon, and I'm in that pink space that says get it done. So I'm supposed to be getting it done. And at 1 o'clock p.m., I got wife, lunch, emails, and updates. So that's when I'm supposed to go to lunch at 1. I'm supposed to, but I don't always do. But at least I can look at my clock, my schedule, and tell what I'm doing because I'm prioritizing my time. I'm prioritizing my time. You need to prioritize your talents too. Now, how do you prioritize your talents? You prioritize your talents by not giving all your talents away to people, places, and things that don't deserve them. Bars. And you prioritize your treasures, your money, your resources, your assets, maybe relationships. So something as simple as I know two people. One person needs something another person got, but I know this person is an idiot or is a liar, or they don't have integrity. I'm not connecting them to. I'm not going to waste my treasures that I prioritize, because when I call that person and need something, or when they call me, I don't need this other idiot in the middle or this liar in the middle. You got to prioritize your time, your talents, and your treasures. Number 4, you must delay gratification. Delay gratification. You must delay gratification. This is something that millionaires have. They know how to delay gratification. So when they get extra money, they not going to the mall to spend that extra money. They ain't going out to eat for 3 weeks straight to spend that extra money. They ain't getting one win of a couple grand and then they going on a 2-week vacation or a sabbatical. That's not what millionaires do. They delay gratification. Look at the words in the blue. You got to put off, don't run off. Now, when I say put off, here's what I mean, because this could go two ways. Delaying gratification can kind of go two ways. It can kind of go two ways. Let me show you how. On one hand, you delay gratification because you put off buying something today that you know you can't afford. So you delay gratification. I don't need the gratification of driving this car, living in this house, wearing these clothes, buying expensive items, wasting my money. I don't need that gratification, so I'm going to delay it. I'm going to put that off until I'm better off. The other side of delaying gratifications in terms of putting off, don't run off, is when you're in a situation that's got you under pressure as an entrepreneur in your finances and you don't really know what to do and you're going through. Okay, just keep going through. Don't run off. Don't get out of going through. Some people want to give up from going through because they don't want to deal with the pain. They want gratification to be released from the pain, but you got to go through that pain. You got to go through that. I tell my team this all the time. I don't care how tough it is when you are building a life of financial freedom for yourself. Do not let up on it. Okay? Delay the gratification. It's painful today. It might be painful tomorrow. It might be painful next week. It might be painful next month. But guess what? I'm going to do what Apostle Paul says we should do in 1 Corinthians 15:58, one of my favorite scriptures. 1 Corinthians 15:58 says, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing this, that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. In other words, keep grinding. My Pop Warner football coach used to say, if you get tackled, just keep them feet moving. Just keep them feet moving. Wake up every day, show up, train, educate yourself, get around the right people, and push until you get to where you want to go. All right? And number 5, you must fuel your enthusiasm. See, all these business principles that I teach are really biblical principles that God already taught. These are biblical principles. See, I like to put the Bible behind the business. I like to put the ministry behind the marketplace. I like to put these eternal revelations behind my entrepreneurial endeavors. You know why? Because it gives me this strength that can't be broken, that can't be shaken, that can't be compromised. So think about it. The 5th millionaire must-have is you must fuel your enthusiasm. How is that a biblical principle? Because David, King David in the Bible, he encouraged himself in the Lord. Okay? Y'all read the story in the book of Samuel when David and his family and his boys, his homies, came back from fighting and realized that somebody had then came through and took his wives and their kids and all their stuff. And they got disappointed. They got mad. They was ready to kill David. And David was like, Lord, what am I going to do? And the Bible says David encouraged himself in the Lord in the midst of his homies ready to kill him. So you can't depend on people, places, and things to fuel your enthusiasm like you. Okay? You got to be the motivator. You got to be the encourager. You got to be willing to look yourself in the mirror and say, guess what? I know it's tough right now. I know I ain't got what I need to get things done. But what I do have is the asset of me. I have this determination. I've got this resilience. I've got this mission, this vision, this purpose. I've got this thing that God has given to me that won't let me give up and give in and throw in the towel. And now I'm going to fuel my own enthusiasm so that when I show up, I wouldn't care what's going on around me or even with me. I'm going to encourage myself. One of the things that I say to myself first every day, and people who I run into get a chance to get in on it, is God is amazing. Life is amazing. And I choose to be amazing. That's one of my affirmations. God is amazing. I can't doubt that. God is amazing. I can't refute that. God is amazing. I'm not even going to question that. Like I can't find proof to say anything different. God is amazing. But then, because God is amazing, life is amazing. Even if my circumstances are not, life is amazing. And because God is amazing, and because the life God has given to me is amazing, I choose to be amazing. I choose to be amazing. So you can fuel your enthusiasm by choosing to be amazing, by choosing to be the best version of yourself, by choosing not to give in to people, places, and things who suck the fuel of your enthusiasm, who drain the fuel of your enthusiasm. And then you replace those people with other people, other places, and other things. So there's certain music I want to listen to fuel my enthusiasm. There's a certain environment I want. When I come to my office, I need a certain environment, and I ain't having it no other way. I'm not coming to my office now day and the enthusiasm is not at the top level. I'm not having it. I'm not coming in here. I don't care if it's 5 people or 50 people. Not on my watch. No, we're not doing that. It's the same way at our church. We have an amazing worship experience every Sunday. And guess what? Our staff, our volunteers, our ministers and leaders, those who are serving, they have to fuel the enthusiasm. They got to set an atmosphere. So when visitors and members come and the family show up, guess what? They feel that, okay, y'all on one today. Y'all way up here. You doggone right. And we gonna stay up here because God is amazing. So I hope today's show inspired you. I hope today's lesson woke you up to the endless possibilities of what you are capable of doing when you harness the things that are in you. Okay? There's a scripture in the Bible, one of my favorite, here's another one of my favorite scriptures, Ephesians 3:20. Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you could ask or think. Here's the great part of that scripture. According to the power that works in you. Okay? So these are the millionaire must-haves. And I preached a sermon to you at the same time. So please put in the comments, put in the chat what your biggest takeaway was from today's show. Let me know what you think about the millionaire must-haves, and let me know if you are willing to do what is necessary to implement and execute those must-haves in your life. Now, for those of you that are watching, if for any reason you need support, you need some direction, you need a few minutes with my team and I to help put a roadmap in place for you in terms of your finances, your business, or your investments. Even for those of you, if you're a pastor in ministry for your church or your ministry, I want you to look in the description. There's a link to our advisory assessment form. Behind me, you see that one of the divisions of our private equity firm, RP Capital, one of the divisions we have is called Strategic Advisory. And we offer, through our private equity firm, strategic advisory services for financial advisory, business advisory, and investment advisory. Because we work with individuals, we work with business owners, pastors, ministers, and investors. We work with people from all walks of life, and we help put roadmaps together for what their financial plan needs to be, what their business plan needs to be, and what their investment plan needs to be. And what we've decided to do just recently within the last 2 weeks or so, and we're still extending this opportunity, we decide to make this opportunity available for you at no cost. All you have to do is click the link in the description. When you click it, there will be a advisory form that opens up for you, and you can complete that advisory form. Tell us a little bit about what you want to do in your finances, in your business, in your investments, and put a date and time that works best for you. My team and I will reach out to you, and we'll take a few minutes over the phone or maybe via Zoom to help put a roadmap together to help you along the way. It's just a complimentary service that we're offering through our advisory division of RP Capital LLC. So I love y'all. I appreciate you all. If you have any questions, put the questions in the comments. You know, we're always open and available to answer your questions and to help you. We see in the comment, in the chat, Matthew says, urgency. Brent C. says, hello, Valicia and Mr. Preston. What's up, Brent? I love this today. Be ye steadfast. That's right, my brother. Be ye steadfast. Brent says 5 weeks till retirement. Congratulations. I don't know what plans you have after retirement, maybe to create some passive income, whatever it is. Be sure to reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help you any way we can to determine what the best route is for you to take in your retirement or after work years to continue to generate passive income. You could just click the link in the description, complete that advisory assessment form. It's free, it's complimentary, and we'll be excited about talking with you. Adria Ross said, Mr. Preston, I love how generous you are with your time and knowledge. Thank you for these gifts you give others every day. Many blessings to you and yours. Adria Ross, thank you so very much. I appreciate those kind words and I receive it in Jesus' name. Matthew says, I notice my urgency picks up when it involves helping other people. I can get something done in an hour for them that'll take me in a different direction for myself, prioritizing helping people. Absolutely, Matthew. I think that's one of my secret sauces. See, I've been a full-time preacher for over 25 years. Okay? So 25 years I've been a full-time preacher, right? Full-time in ministry. I started as an intercessor, associate pastor. I planted my first church, my wife and I. And once I decided that I was going to be a full-time entrepreneur, that was something God showed me in the beginning, that you need to harness your ministry service and infuse your business or your entrepreneurship with that. And I realized that was a secret sauce to Matthew's point, because when I'm doing business and I am convinced that my business is a ministry service in the marketplace, okay? Let me say it again. When I'm doing business, when I'm selling products and services and I'm engaging in entrepreneurship and I am convinced that what I'm doing in the marketplace is ministry infusing the marketplace, it changes everything. It changes your commitment, your consistency, your diligence, your determination, it changes how you provide the service. It changes the quality of your service. It changes everything. And so even though everybody might not be a pastor or called to preach the gospel like me, but there's some level of ministry service that you are called to do in the marketplace, in entrepreneurship, in the workforce, even on your job. And you got to learn how to put that together. And that's one of the things that we've done well in our 20 plus year tenure, my wife and I, with our company and with our ministry, to teach people how to build the bridge between those two worlds and make it work. So thank you for your comments. DL said, paid off major credit card debt this morning. Congratulations, my man. Congratulations to you. I appreciate you all. Again, I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, same place, same time, 12 o'clock noon, right here on the Ramon Preston Show. Don't forget, click the link in the description. Take a look at what we're doing through our private equity firm, RP Capital. This is one of our divisions that we have been extending complimentary services to our community on, because we believe that you can be financially free. We believe you could be successful as an entrepreneur and business owner. We believe you could be successful as an investor, and you can do it in a way that ensures you are recession proof. Despite what you see going on right now in the stock market, in the financial market, in the economy, you can still be recession proof if you have the right information, the right support, and the right execution. So love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for joining the show. We'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time.